What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Tuesday, February 16th. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section who are your favorite options on FanDuel for tonight's slate. We're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Kenrich Williams, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, Lou Dort, my man, and Khris Middleton on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites, my top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up, number 5, we're going to ENES KANTER. Center eligibility, obviously, 6,600. I've got him projected for 39 fantasy points. The goal's 45. He's in the optimal lineup 26% of the time. Harry Giles is out tonight. I don't really think that affects KANTER other than the fact that there isn't another center on the Portland roster. So his minutes are as firm as they could possibly be. They're taking on Oklahoma City, a team that, while Al Horford is a fantastic center, this isn't a tough matchup for KANTER in any way, shape, or form. And if somehow KANTER gets Al Horford into foul trouble, look out. 1.17 fantasy points per minute normally. I've got him at about 1.2, 15.5 points, 13.5 boards. This is a great spot for Portland. Pace up against OKC. Basically everything that you can want in a matchup exists here for KANTER and for some other Portland guys that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Next up at number 4, I'm going to Jamal Murray. Point guard eligibility, 6,500, projected for 35. Goal is 45. Optimal lineup, 27% of the time. Now, these guys are walking wounded. No Gary Harris, no Will Barton, no PJ Dozier, no Paul Millsap. I knew there was a fourth one. Oh, God, so many names at the beginning of the day. They're just missing a ton of bodies. Doesn't truly affect Murray, although I think the usage starts to creep up as we get less and less real NBA players out there. 36 minutes, 1 fantasy point per minute. I mean, technically speaking, it's 0.98. I'm bringing his rates down. 26% usage, 21, 5, and 4. You expect him to just have a game where he goes off at some point in time. I don't know if that's Boston here. This is a pace down spot. All of the general information for Jamal Murray is checked off negatively. I'm bringing down his normal rates. There's less pace in this game than they normally experience. It's a tough defensive matchup. And yet, after all of that, because he's 6,500 and because of the way the position is set up today, I really like getting to Jamal Murray. It's only 6 games. Was supposed to be 7. We lost one. Only 6 games. Can't really avoid him in this mid-tier. Now, if you want to pay all the way up, I think it's a pretty good idea. Power forward eligibility, 11,200 for Giannis Antetokounmpo, projected for 57. The goal is 61. He's in the optimal lineup 30% of the time. 35 minutes. 1.62 fantasy points per minute. That's 29 points, 11.5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2.5 stocks. Whew. Sign me up. Taking on Toronto, it's a neutral pace matchup. Toronto's defense hasn't been good this year, or at least hasn't been as good as it was previously. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's no Marc Gasol out there and no Serge Ibaka any longer. It's a little bit different when it's Aaron Baines and Chris Boucher. Giannis should smash. That's what happens when you project for 29, 11.5, and 7. This spot looks fantastic. He's well worth the pay-up price. There's someone else that I like that's more, or not as expensive, but is also expensive. But if you're paying up to anybody, like if we're trying to compare Giannis to LeBron James tonight, they're not comparable at all. Giannis over LeBron, Giannis over Harden. It's a no-brainer. Giannis over Nikola Jokic. It's a no-brainer to me. Giannis Antetokounmpo looks amazing, even at 11-2. Now, at number 2, we're taking a big step up in tier, 39% of the time in the optimal for Michael Porter Jr. Small forward eligibility, only 5,500, projected for 32.3. The goal is 41. I'm giving him 32 minutes. Paul Millsap is out. These minutes are about as firm as I think that they can be. 1 fantasy point per minute. That's a pessimistic projection against Boston in that same pace down spot that I mentioned for Jamal Murray. 22% usage, 17.7 boards, and a little bit of everything else, but nothing too crazy. On the surface, the matchup looks terrible, but the increased minutes over where he was, given everybody that's out, 5,500 for Michael Porter Jr. at a small forward spot that is just absolutely gross today. It's a no-brainer. He looks incredible. Again, 40% of the time he's in the optimal, 39% of the time, but let's round up to a more fun number. 40% is a lot. He is going to be a fixture in my lineups, one of my most owned plays. I'm anxious to see where his actual ownership ends up, but I don't think it'll matter too much to me. On a value play like this, I'm just going to be there no matter what. Now, before we get to number one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman, and then go check out The Process Show, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time every single day, every single weekday at least. So Monday through Friday. I'll be back again tomorrow. We're going 12 games. We're going to be going for like 90 minutes starting at 6:30 tomorrow. So come make a cup of coffee, come join in on the fun. Now, the number one play for today is an absolute no-brainer, $9,500 point guard Damian Lillard. 49% of the time in the optimal. I have him projected for 55.5. The goal is 55.3. So he hits that slightly more frequently than a coin flip. 37 minutes, 1.5 fantasy points per minute, 35% usage, 32 points, almost 12 assists, 4.5 boards, a steal, a pace-up spot against Oklahoma City, a team that is not really set up to deal with Damian Lillard. They are super-duper shorthanded. I think this looks fantastic for Dame. And the price, he could be another $1,000 more expensive, and I would still like him as one of my favorite plays today. With no CJ, with no Nurk, no Rodney Hood today either, you can't really get away from it. Monster usage, monster everything. He's a part of everything that Portland does tonight. He's the best play on the slate. It's not close. I don't even think that there's something that can change other than Damian Lillard being out to remove him from this number one spot. Number one with a bullet, Damian Lillard. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Tuesday, February 16th. One last reminder to hit that like button because you know how much I love it. Watch the strategy show. It's myself and Laffy this morning. And then I'm not online before lock tonight. So keep your eyes peeled later today. I assume I'm playing this slate, but I am on dinner duty for the wife today. So we'll see where we end up. But keep your eyes peeled for my updates later tonight. Good luck, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning.